It's VTF here, T3 Live, and if it's Tuesday, it's the Wheels in Motion show. And so, with things grinding and grinding and grinding, or still trying to work higher, there's a few things that we want to look at. You'll hear me talk about different sequences and stuff like that, which I'm going to point out to you tonight. But first things first, let's get to it. And we got the SPY, right? So, what is this? It's like you can see this 222. There's just really tough trading ranges in here in the futures. Even on the down move, it wasn't a clean move. You can see gap down, rally back, gap down, rally up, then fail, then gap up, and so it hasn't been a clean move in the futures either way. So you're taking it minute by minute, 60 minute by 60 minute. But more importantly, is that how we use it to see what's going on and where we want to be. And I'm going to show you some scanning techniques. I've done this before, but I think it's a good time to do it because it's really important, especially the way this market's acting, to know where to be when and how to find that out and why. So for right now, if we go to the 60 minute, we gapped up, right? And then we just walk up the try. So here's your broadening formation here, and it's actually going to come off of this now, right? But when we got this, and you hear me talk about the flip, that's at the bottom of the hour when you have a new 60 minute. So here on the opening, right, 15, run for the first hour, right? And that's when the people get the FOMO. I'm like, oh, I'm not long. I got to do something. Win, right? I can't chase or whatever. I'm like, yeah, that's okay. Wait for it. Let them feed the fishies. And so as soon as we flipped, you're going to see this here on the 60. Oops. You can see this as soon as that new 60 came in, boom, it went down. Look at that. It only ticked up a little bit and then boom, started to drop. The first thing I want to know about right there is if I can find anybody taking out yesterday's lows, which was very difficult, but anybody taking out this low, the opening hour. They got what they wanted. They're long, right? And the market rallies. But as soon as and they can hold on, you can hold on as long as the market's rallying. You can hold on and be like, oh, buy stocks, go catch up. But once it starts dropping back down, we're going anybody taking out the opening hour's lows. Because anybody's long got what they wanted to rally, but then once it starts to puke back down, they run for cover. And so one of them was win. You can see this, the 2-2 reversal, very nice 2-2 on the hour, and you can see right on the flip, then it goes back up. Right? That's why you want to have that 60 on the bottom of the hour. It was also a simultaneous break, and you've heard me talk about that last week. We had a simultaneous break to the upside. Almost everything was taking out last week's highs, and also all the signals inside week and up, all the months were, even if they were inside, were green. Simultaneous breaks can happen in any time frame to certain groups. And so what we saw was a simultaneous break in the financials in the second hour. They're the ones who really did this. So if you go to FAS, you're going to see this. Here's your opening hour, and it was already dropping, right? These guys were already panicked. So as soon as the market started to come in, now you got futures help. Boom, that's a 2-2 reversal. 2 up, even though it's red, it's still a 2 up. Boom, down. How did XLF do in this? XLF, KRE, boom, all of them. So that gives you every financial to go after. JP Morgan was already an outside bar. Goldman Sachs was already an outside bar, 3-2 to the downside. Prudential, here, 2 up, 2 down. How'd my MetLife do? There you go, Capital One. Simultaneous 2-2 reversals and 3-2 continuations. On the 60 minute, Wells Fargo, 3-2, Ameriprise, here, 2 up, 2 down, bam, Wells Fargo, Citicorp, you name it, they did it. And then you can see once again, right on the flip, that was over. And that's why we constantly, when I say in this environment, the new 60s are like a new day, that's what I'm talking about, right there. So, because normally we'll be doing that on a daily basis, which we still do, but in this environment, especially on these 60s, because these are nice chunky moves in an hour. So for tomorrow, it's like we don't have a lot of things that are close to today's lows or last week's lows for sure. So there's a few things we can do, and it's like look at some of the things that might take out today's lows. So you've got a Tesla goes shooter here. That's a nice move. It wouldn't be a major reversal because we still have, let me tighten this up. we still have this weekly. How are you going to turn this bad? Right? That's a tall order to turn this thing around, right? And you want to know about that, and I'm going to get to that kind of stuff in just a second. But just on a daily basis, because we're moving around so much, NTES, you can see this closing near the lows. You've got BABA here closing near the low. So right out the chute, if we start to gap up or open flat and start to drop, these are the guys who are going to have stops on the lows of the day. And then if you hope it gets worse, but with the volatility, even if it doesn't go too far, there's usually enough meat on day bones. So one of the things I wanted to show you is if you just had a SPY 60 up, like I showed you, you could easily trade with no charts. And what I mean by that is when you know what you're scanning for. So when I talk about simultaneous breaks and stuff like that, and I use my TC2000 here, right? So, oops, let me fix this. So if we go inside and up on the week, then I've got another scan for taking out yesterday's highs, or last bar's highs, and I'll get to that in a second. I want to show you something. When people are looking at charts and trying to tell you what they think and why it should go down, there's mechanics to it, right? You're going to have to reverse something, right? And so if you look at this, I search by volume, there's inside and up on the week, all right? And we're going to go through some of these. Netflix stands out, Roku, right? And you're going to see how many of these names are doing this. You've got Walgreens, you've got Rad, you've got Shop, you've got Docu, right? Coop, Now, right? TWLO, right? And Splunk, all these names that you've heard of, right? And then if you want to take it even further and just go to anybody taking out yesterday or last week's highs, whether it's inside or not, it gets bigger. AMD, Microsoft, Apple, Tesla, all this kind of stuff gets bigger. So if I were to go scan now for inside down on the week, here, or anything taking out last week's lows, right? You're going to see the difference. I can tell you what this market's doing without looking at a chart if I have a scan, right? So here's inside and down. GE, ACB, INO, CHRS. Look at this list. You see the difference? It's almost nothing. So now even if let's take it to a further scan of anything taking out last week's lows, no matter what it is, right? And you can see it's almost the same thing, just the same garbage, except you can throw some John Deere and Cat in there for your major names, but it's almost nothing. And so until that changes, you have higher prices. So you'd have to have reversals on a shorter time frame first, right? And so you'd have to first reverse today, right? Because if you can't go down and take out these weeks, it's not a reversal. And so as much as people want to say, oh, I think it's getting overbought here, it should reverse, they have to reverse to reverse. Is that made clear? Okay. So we can look at a few things now. We can go to like gold. And like I said, a lot of this is just continuations from last week's simultaneous break. And here gold was the inside week last week. Now just going straight into the highs. So now we don't know. Like I said, it's up and away, and maybe it goes 2-2 on the downside. And then for it to be bad on the week, you'd have to change this, right? The opening is 159.17. That would need to change. If we go to Coop, and Coop, this is an important pattern to know about, all right? So Coop has been the triangle machine. It's been awesome, and I'll get to that in a second. But this is a pattern you want to know about because when you when people try and read charts, they're like oftentimes thinking support, resistance. They're not thinking of what is the chart actually telling you, right? It's telling you what participants are doing, right? When you read it properly, or you analyze the data, I should say, properly. And what I mean by that is here. You see this? This is an inside week, all right? That means in this equilibrium. Couldn't take out the highs nor the lows, right? Then outside week. Took out both sides. All right, so you had your equilibrium. They tried to take it up, and they tried to take it down. Then inside again. Now we meet again. After the battle of trying to take out both sides, we meet again. You bring your boys, I'll bring my boys, and we'll see who's tougher. All right, that's exactly what happened. Boom, now the real move to the upside. So if you go back to the Coop monthly, we've talked about this forever. These were all outside bars. Once a 3, always a 3 cannot be. We've talked about this pattern, this chart for a while, but then inside, which means compound 1, right? You couldn't get outside of this stuff. Boom, into the highs, all right? But then you had your outside bar, and then boom, take them all out, which means compound 3, which means if these 2 months were 1 month, they'd be outside of all this. And if you went backwards, these things are all inside of that. So now that you have the 1 3 1 2 up, now we want to see if we can take this out. 162.85 and go back to the highs, because you're back into this old 3 here, which means you're back into an upper level triangle, broadening formation. That's true. All right. So that pattern is very important to look for. So outside of that, LVGO here, once again, what did I say at the beginning of the month? We want anybody taking out last month's highs, right? Because we know that it's going to be a tall order for the SPY to do that, or the Qs for that matter, although they're getting closer. And the small cappers, right, nowhere near it. LVGO takes it out, right? And you can see what that's done. Since it's done that, boom, and there was your inside day and going. So, like I said, there's some exhaustion risk by going into some recent highs. We're going to be very aware on these dailies to see if we're going to get any 2-2 reversals that can set up anything later in the week, because it's only Tuesday. Right now we don't have that evidence. You got Pfizer doing this, walk, and so we got a lot of things just blasting in off those monthlies, just barely taking that out. So that gets my attention because it's just working on it right here, 36.46, because the champ Amazon, come on man, we've been talking about that. We have. Boom, there it is, new highs, and 2 down, and that was ripe as anything to take out last month's highs, and we knew that. And if you look out your window and are a good boy and haven't been outside, but you look out your window, you're going to see the trucks are everywhere. All right, so I'm not a fundamental guy, but there it is in all its glory. XLRN. XLRN, you can see this outside month, and we're taking that out. And here, inside week to the upside. And the reason this gets my attention, outside of full time frame continuity to the upside and going to take last month's highs, once again, when we go to our scan, all right, inside and up, when we go to the macro list, I make a macro vid once a month, right? I do. What, pray tell, do you think the list this is on? Let's see. Where's my volume? Oh, let me see. I'll just pull it up. Candlestick. XLRN. Inside year to the upside. Did we know about that? We did. It's been in every video this every video this year, and there's a gap part of in there, but that's fine. It's still going. So knowing how to scan again, macro stuff. If anything's going down, all you got to do is scan for anything taking out last week's lows, anything taking out last month's lows, and then when you have those 60s, like I said, if you can scan for anything taking those 60s out, that's where you want to be. If we go to W. 2-2-monther and back up through here. So we'll see what comes of that. We've had, a lot of these things are still off their all-time highs, and that's what was good for W. It had already been coming down, and now you got that going for you. You've got Amgen taking out last month's highs. Boom, right? And another nice opening to the week. See that? Still going. Like so. Now you just have a little bit of exhaustion risk of the new recent highs, and that's going to be pretty much everything. If you go to Peloton, everybody staying home, you're going to ride your bike. We'll see. This is called Momo Hammer, right? Anybody who's short tomorrow, if we take out these highs, we're going to talk to them tomorrow, because they got what they wanted, backed off in a strong market, but then creeps back up. So they can stay short, right? Guess where the stop goes? Right here, right? And here, monthly, 2-2 reversal hammer back up. So we'll see how that goes. It's also on the weekly here, the Momo hammer to the upside, which is what we're looking for to reconfirm on the daily. See? T-Doc. T-Doc, a little doji day. However, it is still inside of the month, but green. But also what we look for is the ref strat, the 1-2-2. Once again, just like that 1-3-1, we've got equilibrium, attempt to take down, attempt to reverse. All right, so we'll see how much power we can get out of that. AMD. AMD monthly takes it out. It's called hammer counter shooter. Did we know about that? We did. The good thing about that too is this is an outside bar. So unless this reverses, we're looking to take this out all of 59.27. Got another about $5 on that. INCY. INCY RevStrat 122. Right? Just like the T-Doc. Here you go. Inside, down, take out all the stops. All right, then come back and stick it to them. Anybody who tries to stay short in here just got jacked. Stops are here, here, and here. Still going. We've been talking about this for a while. The daily try looks like this, and now expanding. Voila. ZM. ZM stalled out day, but that's okay. Monthly still inside, but we're going. Another important thing is changing continuity. All right, so the opening here is 144.50. That's what we know. Anybody short this month, everybody goes underwater. All right, so we're still inside. On the weekly, we got our reversal to the upside. They spooked them. They poked down as a 2. 2-2 reversal back up on the weekly. Here over 125.87. MPWR. And MPWR here. Another takes this out. Once again, the important part, this is a 3, outside bar. Back into it, 3, 2, 2, hammer, boom. We're looking to take this out unless we get a reversal against us. 193.10. Been to Costco lately? I bet you have. Costco's still inside month. And still some room to go into the highs. And so when people are saying that it's not a V-shaped recovery, I'm like, that might be true, but there's certainly some places that are doing well, and this is one of them. And so they can watch the Walmarts and your Costco's of the world. I mean, the Costco's and the Walmarts of the world here, spiking back into the highs. DocU. And DocU does its job. Inside week, right? So you have your inside week after your outside work. 3-1-2 Chicago, right? They took out both sides. They met in the middle. The winner takes out that side, which they have done. We'll see. At this point, it's still inside week and up, so we'll see if anything more comes of that. ILMN in the bio. Monthly, still 2-2 here, reversal and coming back through a big previous range here, so long as this month is above 285.34, you can look for more continuation there. Mr. Softy Microsoft. Microsoft not there yet, so could get interesting here. Right there, shooter, hammer, upper, over 175, you're almost there. Match.com, the same, just skirting that last month's highs at 73.25. That usually trades with IAC, and that would go here, 211.31. We got ZS here. ZS trying to take this month out, 66.50. You're right there, and you can see how this was equal tick, so that was really a 2 down. Close enough to give you the broadening formation looking like this, and we'll see if they can take that out. Okta. Thanks for playing. Last month's highs. Right there. Boom. Shop. Shop not quite there yet, but this is what we look for. When I say, whenever you look at a setup across different time frames, always ask yourself, what's the next 2? What will that create, negate, or do? And the way I can relate that to people, the analogy I use is like playing pool. All right, and I can't stress this enough. If this works, right, you don't just come up and knock the ball into the pocket, right? You need to leave yourself something, right, for the next shot. So every setup that you take, ask yourself, what's that going to do? Right? If this works, where will it go, and what will that create on a different time frame? Will I be able to add? Am I going straight into exhaustion? What will happen? And if I'm wrong, then what will that also create? Because that can help you to not get destroyed and be like, if I'm wrong, it goes back into full time frame continuity, and I'm going back through a 3, and I'm going to get murdered. Right? So you always want to ask yourself that question. So in this case, shop goes inside, right? Goes up here, and if that works, Hopefully it has enough power to take this out and go 2-2 reversal on the monthly above 514. We're sitting pretty down in here after it took out 439. That's a nice chunky move. SNPS. And SNPS, and here you can see this tight range in here for a long time. And so one of the problems people have is, well, they'll say, hey, something's coiling. I need a tight range so I can have a tight stop. More often than not, it's going to test both sides first, right? So chop, 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 outside bar. Take out both sides, right, guys? I'm going to buy the breakout. Oh, I'm going to short the failure. Bam. Take out both sides, right? Then it pokes down a little bit. There's your 3, 2, 2, 2, 2, 2 for your compound 3 outside bar of all that. Then it goes up here. Oh, it's finally resolved to the upside. It's all clear. Right here's nothing but blue skies up there, right? Boom, 3 outside bar. Puke and come all the way back through. This range has now been expanded on both sides, and it's coming back through again. Once a 3, always a 3, can't not be. And now coming up back into an old 3 to try and take this out. 322 month or above 146.96. You're there. Adobe. And this has got some distance to take that out. But what I like about this, once again, when you look at something, you want to analyze the data of what has occurred. Okay? Look at this. There's guys in here who wouldn't touch Adobe here. And I'll tell you why. Yay, boo. Yay, boo. Yay, boo. Yay, boo. I'm never touched. I'm not falling for that one again. It's time. Tee-hee. Here they go. So that's one of the things you want to look for when you're looking at a chart. How many people have just been disappointed, thrown in the towel, changing jobs over something like that? Blue. Dare he say it? I did. So blue doing almost nothing, right? Right here. It's doing almost nothing, but it is green. But we've got a strong bios, and sometimes they come bottom picking a little bit, and you do have an inside weaken up. So I might want to keep a little eye on blue. Netflix inside weaken up, and so that takes out here the monthly high, and that gives you the magnitude up here. Hopefully, take out the all-time high 423.20. On the downside, crude. USO. What's this? Weekly. Outside, inside, down. For this to recover, in this case, in this USO would need to get back above 480 for any hope. Below that, crude still has problems, and we know these things. Like today, if you watch the halftime show, I talked about the lack of breadth as far as sectors taking us back up right now, because energy's doing nothing, right? And on the dailies, you had inside days for XLE, the REITs, FAS, home builders, all that stuff stayed inside. So not too much to see here. Outside of that, you've got the usual suspects, but just like some of the higher priced ones to move around, like a Concho or a PXD, because the other things are so beaten into the dirt. It's hard to want to trade Halliburton at $6 or whatever. And you got slob earnings coming out on Friday. Fang Energy here does do this, however. It's getting closer. Wouldn't surprise me here to go 2-2 weaker down, and that would take it at 29.63. So we'll see like that. And one of the few, the proud, the inside month and down GSX. So there's not. That's pretty much it over there. As I pointed out before, I believe Cat still green on the month. It's one of the few 2-2 reversals on the weekly. John Deere as well. You can watch AGCO here with that, although it's not close to doing that. You can see on a day like today if these industrial machinery guys are going to go down. It did take out yesterday's lows. AUDC. In AUDC, like I said, one of the few, the proud, the 2-2 weakers. You don't have a lot of that going on right now, so we'll see what comes of that. Play. This is just still inside weak, but such a sad story. And taking out yesterday's lows that we'll see. DDS, still look at this, still walking down here. It's not getting killed. It's still inside weak, but it's that relative weakness that you're looking for when you're looking at this market to see if the market does do a 2-2 reversal or whatever starts coming in. Do these guys have any chance? So you just want to have that kind of a list out there. Of course, the usual suspects, Carnival Cruise, just kind of sitting here doing nothing, and RCL was slightly up, and so they're just kind of sitting there. They might have beaten them to the pulp. DRI restaurants, we know is having problems, and DRI goes inside day, so maybe you get something out of that. It's one of those things that didn't take out last week's highs here. And then I was going to go to the airlines, and something's going on while I was broadcasting, or right before I came on. The airlines inside days right now, and somebody made a bail them out or something. They're all up big right now. So I don't know what the news is because I was on the headset and doing my thing. So we'll see what comes of that. We know they like to fail, but obviously some news has come out, and we'll disseminate that. So we'll do it as we see it. Follow that sequence that I'm talking about. When you look at a scan and be like, I think it's a reversal, it has to be a reversal. It's got to reverse on the shortest time frame first or gap, right? That's true. It has to do that. So always be aware of that. Hopefully that helps. Another Tuesday in the books. All right, thanks for coming out, everybody. I'm Rob Smith in the Black Quant GTF here at T3 Live of the Wheels in Motion Show.